She texted me right at 5 p.m., "Can't make it tonight." I already knew exactly where she was when she sent it, so I just replied, "All right." That night, I ordered her favorite ridiculously expensive dinner for two, delivered straight to her ex's apartment, and paid for in my name. Her name is Maya. We were together a little over 2 years, living in my condo for most of that time. To everyone else, we were the perfect couple, but inside I always felt like I was on probation. Maya had this thing about her ex, Derek. He wasn't just an ex. He was a recurring character in her life story. The one who got away, now her best friend. I wasn't stupid. I told her from the start that I wasn't okay with it. We had to fight, the big one. She cried, accused me of being insecure and controlling, swore on everything holy that their relationship was purely platonic, and told me I had to trust her. Like a fool, I gave in. But on one condition, complete transparency. No secret phone calls. No, we just ran into each other nonsense. She agreed. For a while it seemed to work. He was a ghost in the background. But in the last few months, that ghost got heavier. She'd be on her phone, smiling at a text. When I asked who it was, she'd say, "Just my mom," a little too quickly. She started having emergencies that made her cancel our plans at the last minute. A friend's car broke down. A coworker needed help. Always believable enough to make me feel like a jerk for doubting her. The final nail came about a month ago. We had one of those shared family phone accounts for our data plan. While paying the bill, I noticed an option to manage location settings. On a whim, I turned on location sharing for her phone for emergencies, though really I was looking for a lie. I didn't have to look long. The next week, she said she was going to a late-night yoga class. The location showed her to a wine bar across town. Another time, she said she was at a girls' night at Sarah's. The dot on the map showed her 10 miles away in a condo complex where I knew Derek lived. I didn't say anything. I just watched, collected the data, and felt a cold knot tighten in my gut. She wasn't just lying. She was doing it effortlessly. I was the guy who paid the bills and kept her life comfortable while she test drove her old one. Last night was our anniversary, not the day we met, but the day we moved in together. I'd booked a high-end sushi place weeks earlier, the kind of reservation you need a month in advance. It was her favorite, and she'd been talking about it all week. At 5 p.m., just as I was getting ready to leave work, my phone buzzed. "Hey, so sorry. My boss just dropped a huge deadline on me. I'm going to be stuck at the office all night. Can't make it tonight. We'll celebrate this weekend, I promise." I opened the location app. Her little blue dot wasn't at her office building. It was sitting on top of Derek's condo and had been there since morning. The lie was so blatant, so disrespectful, that I didn't even feel angry. I felt a chilling, clear certainty. This was the end. But I didn't want a screaming match. I wanted it quiet, precise, unforgettable. I texted back one word: "Sure." I went home to my empty condo and thought. I thought about 2 years invested, trust given, the future I'd imagined, and how to end it. I could have packed her things and left them by the door. That wasn't enough. She needed to be exposed, to be caught by her own choices, not me. I opened the restaurant's delivery app and ordered their most expensive omakase platter for two, with premium steak. The total was obscene, well over $300. I put Derek's condo as the delivery address. I knew the exact unit number from my quiet research. In the delivery instructions I wrote, "Please make sure the recipient knows this is from Ben. It's for our anniversary." I used our joint credit card, the one I knew she would get notifications for. I waited and imagined the scene. The doorbell rings. She opens up expecting Derek's takeout. Then the delivery guy reads the name on the bag. My name. The look on her face when she realized I knew where she was, that I'd paid for her and her ex's romantic anniversary dinner. That was the revenge. Not loud. Quiet. Perfectly aimed. About 45 minutes later, my phone started to blow up. First, a credit card notification confirming the charge, then calls, hers first. I ignored them. Then a call from an unknown number. Ignored. Texts. "How could you?" I didn't reply. "You're a psycho. Are you stalking me?" I still didn't reply. Finally, "We need to talk. Please answer the phone. It's not what you think." I silenced my phone and sat there. I knew she'd come home eventually. The condo that had once held our life felt like a fortress. My fortress. and she was about to find out she was no longer welcome inside. She showed up around 11 p.m. I watched through my doorbell camera as she fumbled with her keys, her hands shaking. She must have known what was coming. When the door opened, she stood there, staring at me on the couch. "We need to talk," she said. "No, we don't," I replied calmly. I think the sushi said everything that needed to be said. "You had no right," she screamed. "You embarrassed me in front of Derek. He thinks you're a crazy, jealous monster, does he?" I asked. But does he finally realize the woman he's sleeping with has a live-in boyfriend who just bought them dinner? I'm sure that was an interesting conversation for you two. Her face crumpled. The anger was just a mask for her panic. "It was a mistake," she whimpered, tears forming. I was confused. "Derek and we have history. I was going to tell you." "No, you weren't," I said, standing up. "You were going to keep lying, keep living your double life, and keep using my home and my money as your safety net. That ends now. Your things are in the spare room. They're not packed. I'm not doing that for you. You have until noon tomorrow to get every single item out of this condo. If anything's still here at 12:01, it's going in the dumpster." She just stared at me, mouth open. "You can't just kick me out. I live here." "No, you don't," I said. "Your name isn't on the lease. You've been a guest here for 2 years, and you've officially overstayed your welcome." The next morning was a tense, miserable circus. She had nowhere to go, so she called her parents. They showed up around 10 a.m., and they were not happy. Her father, a big, imposing man who had always been polite to me, looked at me with pure contempt. Her mother immediately started in. "I can't believe you would treat our daughter this way," she said. "After everything she's done for you, turning this sterile apartment into a home." I looked at her calmly. "With all due respect, your daughter has been lying to me and cheating on me with her ex for months. I just bought them a $300 anniversary dinner at his apartment last night. You should be more concerned about her choices than my reaction to them." That shut them up. Clearly, Maya hadn't told them the full story, just the version where I was the villain. They helped her pack in tense silence. As they loaded the last box into their car, her father walked up to me. "You'll regret this, son," he said. "She's the best thing that ever happened to you." I shook my head. "No, sir. Getting rid of her is." After they left, the first thing I did was go through every account we had. I closed our joint credit card, removed her as an authorized user on the others, and changed every shared password. Then I went to the bank, emptied our joint savings account, mostly my money anyway, and transferred it into a new private account. The silence afterward was a relief, but I knew it wouldn't last. The storm came 2 days later, not from Maya, but from Derek. He showed up unannounced on a Sunday afternoon. I saw him on the doorbell camera before he even buzzed. He looked furious. I let him stew on the porch for a minute before opening the door. "We need to talk," he said, trying to push past me to block the doorway. "No, we don't. You and I have nothing to talk about." "You blew up my life, man," he snapped. "You think I was funny sending that dinner? Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I have a pretty good idea of what Maya did," I shot back. "And it seems like you were part of it. That's not my problem." "Not your problem?" he scoffed. "I have a girlfriend, a serious, living girlfriend of 3 years. Her name's Jessica. And guess what? She was at my apartment when your little anniversary gift showed up. She saw the note. She saw everything. I hadn't seen that coming. I thought Derek was just a single guy playing the field. The idea that he was in a long-term relationship made Maya's betrayal even worse. "So you're both cheaters?" I said. "Sounds like a you problem. This is your fault," he shouted, getting more agitated. "Maya told me you two were basically over, that you were just roommates and she was moving out. She said you were controlling. If you hadn't sent that dinner, I could have handled it, but you put me on blast. Jessica left me. She took everything. So yeah, this is your problem now." He stepped closer. "You're going to fix this. You're going to call Jessica and tell her you're the crazy ex." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Let me get this straight. You and my ex were cheating on both of us. I exposed it. And now you want me to lie to your ex to cover for you? Get off my property." I started to close the door, but he threw out his hand to stop it. "You're going to regret this," he growled. I didn't say a word. I just pulled out my phone and made sure he could see I was recording. His hand dropped instantly. The tough guy act vanished. He just stood there for a second, deflated, then turned and walked off. The next phase of Maya's attack was financial. A few days later, I got a fraud alert from my bank for a card I'd completely forgotten about, an old department store account we'd opened to buy a couch. I was the primary holder, but she still had a card. She had tried to buy over $2,000 worth of gift cards online. The bank's system flagged the unusual activity and declined the charges. I spent an hour on the phone with the fraud department, explaining the situation, closing the account, and filing a report. It was just another piece of evidence in my growing file against her. Then came the smear campaign, exactly as I'd expected, but with a new twist. It wasn't just Maya painting me as the crazy, jealous ex-Derek in an attempt to win back his own girlfriend, had apparently joined forces with her. The story they were spreading was that I was a violent stalker who had been harassing them both for months, and that the sushi delivery was just the latest in a long list of unhinged acts. It might have worked, if not for an unexpected email I received a week later. The sender was Jessica, Derek's ex-girlfriend. She said she'd gotten my contact info from a mutual acquaintance who had heard the rumors and thought I deserved to know the truth. She wanted to meet, that we met for coffee the next day. Jessica was sharp, composed, clearly heartbroken but not broken. She had a story to tell, and she had receipts. She showed me texts from Derek going back months where he complained about Maya being a needy psycho, but said he couldn't get rid of her. Then she showed me messages from Maya to Derek, outlining her plan to get a nice settlement from me when she finally left, how she was just waiting for the right time. It was all there in black and white, a calculated, premeditated plan to use me, drain me, and then move on. Jessica had been doing her own digging since leaving Derek. He's a coward and a liar, she said evenly. But she's something else entirely. She's a predator. I don't want her to get away with this. If you need me to, I'll sign a sworn affidavit. I'll testify in court. She deserves to face the consequences for what she's done to both of us. Armed with this new ammunition, I was ready for Maya's final move. It came in the form of a letter from a lawyer. It was full of baseless accusations, demands for financial support, claims of emotional distress, and threats to sue for a portion of my assets. And my lawyer's response was swift and devastating. It not only refuted every one of her claims, pointing out that she was never on the lease, but also included a few exhibits. Exhibit a transcript of the recording of Derek threatening me on my doorstep. Exhibit B, the bank's report of her attempted credit card fraud. Exhibit C, a signed, notarized affidavit from Jessica, complete with the most damning text messages from Maya outlining her plan to extort me. The letter concluded by stating that if Maya did not immediately retract all of her claims and cease all contact, my client will be filing a multi-pronged lawsuit for harassment, defamation, and conspiracy to commit fraud, and we would be seeking full legal costs. We never heard from her lawyer again, that it's been 6 months now. The silence from Maya and her family has been absolute. I heard through the grapevine that her parents are making her pay back every cent she ever took from our joint accounts. Derek's life is in shambles. Jessica, true to her word, never went back to him. The story of their affair spread, and they became pariahs in their social circle. Last I heard, Maya's living in a tiny apartment on the worst side of town, working a temp job, drowning in debt. She didn't just lose a boyfriend. She lost the comfortable life she took for granted. And she was finally exposed for what she really was, a user and a fraud.